Match comptant pour les demi-finales du tournoi messieurs Roland-Garros 2023. Premier joueur entré sur le court a remporté 22 titres en Grand Chelem, dont 2 ici à Roland-Garros. Il est serbe, Novak Djokovic.
A match for the ages, and a match of different ages. Will it be the exuberance and confidence of youth, or will the wily, legendary experience shine through? It is a match everyone, including both players, have been waiting for. As the 20-year-old world #1 superstar Carlos Alcaraz is about to step on court to take on the 36-year-old 22-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic.
Il se reposait à celui qui n'a que 20 ans, déjà vainqueur d'un Grand Chelem à l'US Open l'an passé, le numéro 1 mondial, l'Espagnol Carlos Alcaraz.
So many different facets to this match. So much intrigue. Two very different personalities, but two awesome tennis players. And both have unbeaten streaks at Grand Slam level going. 19 matches in a row Novak Djokovic has won. His last defeat at Grand Slam level came on this very court to Nadal last year. Alcaraz has won 12 in a row. Last defeat at Wimbledon last year against Jannik Sinner. Something has to give. So sit back and enjoy this first men's semi-final. International Tennis Hall of Famer Mark Woodford alongside myself, Pete Hodges, in the commentary box. Mark, first of all, just tell me your own emotions heading into this one.
A little nervous, right? It certainly is a match that everyone has been looking forward to. Once the draw came out and these two were on the same half of the draw, plenty of hope. And here we are. Is this the baton changing? Is this the match where it happens? I mean, we tease it that way, but I think a lot is going to depend on Novak Djokovic, which Novak Djokovic arrives at the beginning of the match today.
Reminders, the clock is on top there and also in front of me. Time start after announce the score. We do have the towels boxes. Novak, please get the one with the orange sticker for you. Carlos, the gray sticker. Line umpires on every line. If you want me to check a mark, please stop the point, call me, make it clear. After the toss, we do a picture with the two kids and then only the two of you. Okay? Any questions? No? Do you want the ball or the player?
I'll take the player.
The player is called. Woo! The ball.
Receive.
Receive?
This side.
This side? Good match.
So that was Alcaraz winning the toss and electing to receive first, something we've seen throughout the tournament. And as you can see, breezy conditions once again. It's been a windy championships, but it's also been a hot championships. Hottest day of Roland-Garros so far. Which player will be hotter come the end of this one, though, with the tennis racket in their hand? First ever meeting at Grand Slam level between these two. Hotly anticipated. And you said there, Mark, that you felt it's down to this man with who comes out on top. He said in his press conference he felt the first 2 sets he played against Karen Khachanov in the previous round were the worst 2 sets he played before improving in quite a significant way. Why, though, do you think it's more about Djokovic than Alcaraz today?
Well, I think we know how Alcaraz is going to come out, and that is the foot on the accelerator, full throttle in the first game. That's what is so difficult at playing against Alcaraz, because you feel like there's no time to breathe at all. I think for Djokovic, though, if we see the man that played the last 2 sets against Khachanov, I think his defense, he's one of the best, maybe the best ever counterpuncher. And the clay. You said that this is the first time that they've played at Grand Slam level. Madrid, yes, a result for Alcaraz, but they played in elevated altitude there. Court plays a whole lot faster. And I think clay might be the leveler, just enough for Novak Djokovic.
The ball's going to be whizzing around as well with the heat today. Although we've talked all through the championships about the ball fluffing up. As for Djokovic saying, well, he played his worst 2 sets in the quarterfinals. Different story for Alcaraz when he got the better of Steph Tsitsipas. He said that was possibly his best match of his career. How impressed have you been with the Spaniard throughout these championships?
He's dropped the one set. I'm always amazed when you look back at the champions of any Grand Slam and the ones that have been able to loft the trophy, hold and embrace it at the end of the tournament, going through 7 matches without dropping a set. It's unheard of. He was in that second set against Taro Daniel there in the second round. A little unusual to see him drop a set against someone that where Daniel is with his ranking, but he was able to flip the switch. He found a way, changed his game, and that's what is so intriguing about Alcaraz, because he has a number of instruments in his bag that he can utilize.
As we hear the applause for the great champion that is Novak Djokovic, twice a winner here, looking to become the first player to win 3 Grand Slams across the board in men's tennis. At least 3, of course, when you've won 22 Grand Slams. Hoping this is incidentally his 12th Roland-Garros semi-final, hoping to reach what would be a 7th final. As for Alcaraz, well, he's the youngest semi-finalist here since, yep, you've guessed it, Novak Djokovic in 2007, as we see that head-to-head. And the head-to-head, that match, it was a thriller in Madrid, won 7-5 in the third by Carlos Alcaraz. Alcaraz said, though, in his press conference that that match didn't matter. This is very different here, different conditions, but also the fact it's a 5-setter. Do you read anything into that? Does it not give him a slight psychological edge that he's won their one previous meeting?
It does. For Alcaraz, yes. That's the, you take that victory and you carry it into this particular match. I think for Djokovic, though, probably, you know, it's not relevant for him.
It's going to be fascinating as well to hear who the crowd get behind in this one. Both rightly being greatly respected. You see lots of Spanish flags, incidentally, in and around Court Philippe Chatrier, which we have done throughout the years. Usually it's for Rafael Nadal. As we take a little look at time spent on court, this was something that Djokovic also referenced. As much as he's had 4 hours longer, his matches have seemed far more intense, but he talked about the fact that he's had 2 days off, and that would mean he'll be able to refresh and reset.
That's a big factor, exactly. Having 48 hours to recover, I think is a leveler. And the matches, limited play coming in, really for both of them, because Alcaraz only played the 2 tournaments that he won. He lost first round in the third one, so we'll take that out of the equation. But Novak hasn't played a lot of tennis either heading into this year's tournament. So I think I said at the start of the tournament, a couple of matches, the longer that Novak stays in the tournament, the more dangerous he is. And yeah, I think even though it is 4 hours extra, it's probably helpful.
I'm going to ask you that horrible question now. Who do you give the edge to in this one?
I'm liking Djokovic. Just if it's the Djokovic that played the first 2 sets, I actually think Alcaraz could blitz through this in 3 sets, 4 sets. If it's the part 2, Novak Djokovic, that won sets 3 and 4 against Khachanov, I think he wins in 4, possibly 5 sets. But it's going to be a derby.
It certainly is. I was mentioning at the beginning how there's so many different facets, how these two are different characters. I can tell you, in and around the grounds, Carlos Alcaraz training this morning, signing multiple autographs, smiling, chatting to everyone, so relaxed. Djokovic, head down, towel over himself.
Who are you going with?
Novak Djokovic.
I'll go with Djokovic. But it's a coin flip, isn't it? But it's a very special coin flip. Let's see what happens. It will be the world number 3 and 22-time Grand Slam champion to get this one underway. Incidentally, 17-time Grand Slam champion Mark Woodford alongside myself, Pete Rogers, and we will talk you through this first men's semi-final. It was a slow start for Djokovic against Karen Khachanov. We've already mentioned that he described the first 2 sets as the worst 2 sets he's played at this year's tournament. Walking around the ground, so there's been a steely focus to the Serb this morning. How do you think, Mark, Djokovic has found the height for Alcaraz? There's been so much talk about the talented young Spaniard. Is what we've seen from Djokovic this morning a bit about, I'm going to make a point, so I'm the real champion and legend?
Well, in a sense, he could fly under the radar. There's no focus on, you know, his form coming into this year's tournament.
Oh, well, that is why there's so much talk about this young man. Doesn't have a flaw in his game.
No, fun. That's sensational. It's just a quick response. It's a one strike. Djokovic not even tracking that passing shot.
A rock-solid first game from the Serb. Tactically, Mark, what are we going to see from Carlos Alcaraz today, do you feel? How many drop shots are they going to be out there? Because he can play pretty much any tactic, right?
Well, if he doesn't play the drop shots, I'd be totally surprised. I think that's just part of his makeup these days, no matter the surface. I wouldn't expect anything else but full throttle. I mean, you could see that passing shot. Even some of the returns, he was going, you know, at 100% speed. Not sure what his tactics would be as far as if there is a short ball and it's down the center third of the court. Probably will take it on the forehand. But which direction does he, which corner? Maybe it is down the middle to Djokovic.
Look towards the ball, Mark. Just caught the service line. According to Hawkeye, it was 1 millimeter in, so not a bad first serve from the 20-year-olds.
Yeah, Pete, just to refer back to the hype, how does Djokovic handle that? There's a lot of talk about Alcaraz. That just given that Djokovic was a little spotty with his own form in the build-up, so you know it takes attention off of him and onto. There's pressure on this man serving right now. Is he the anointed one after Nadal not being here?
First long rally goes the way of Alcaraz. And that's been one of the most impressive things with Carlos Alcaraz. So many times where he's had to deal with pressurized scenarios and situations. His first Grand Slam final, of course, at the US Open, won in 4 sets. Won all 4 of his Masters finals. But this, you feel, is another level up. Playing against a player he described himself as legendary.
Carlos called Novak legendary.
Yeah.
Well, without a doubt, he is. And vying for the 23rd Grand Slam title, that is certainly status of greatest of all time.
This is why this match is a little more intriguing. That first forehand, 99% of the rest of the tour wouldn't have got it back. Forced to play a second, but it was just as good as the first.
Yeah. We were also discussing the fact that against Djokovic, he is a two-handed backhand. You can see he gets this one back into play, good length. It was a defensive one. He had to play the one-hander because it was just out of his strike zone. But the last three opponents for Alcaraz has been against one-handed backhands. And clearly not the same. Novak Djokovic got one of the best in the game, the two-handed backhand of his.
Just overcooked that. Yeah, the numbers for Alcaraz against Tsitsipas were astounding in terms of winning almost every point. Tsitsipas dropped it short into the middle of the court. You don't expect as many short balls today, and also, as you were saying, Djokovic, one of the best counter-punches in the business.
There's the response from Djokovic. He went toe-to-toe. This was a big forehand by Alcaraz and matched by Djokovic. 152 Ks, that forehand, and that's the response that expecting Novak from him today.
In terms of shot speed throughout the tournament, Alcaraz 3 Ks quicker off the forehand than Djokovic. 128 Ks average to Djokovic's 125. Backhand is also 2 Ks ahead, 117 to 115. A lot more success at the net too, 77% success rate compared to 67% for Djokovic. But factor all that in, experience also counts for a fair amount, and 22 Grand Slams also is in the bag of Novak Djokovic. As Hachanov said prior to his quarterfinal, as well as Molchan as well described playing Djokovic like playing against a chess player. It's not about the size of the strike. He knows what to do in every situation. Bit of pressure in this situation though. First time, bit of heat on a server.
Landing a lot of first serves, 8 of 9 already in the match, Djokovic.
Oh, that's magnificent. He served and volleyed on the first point and didn't get it right. How about that for a correction?
40-30.
Nice angle coming around the outside of the ball.
mean, the court coverage between these two is off the charts. On serve so far, already really enjoyable.
Djokovic, men de Josard.
Interesting aspect of this particular matchup as well is contrasting or comparing here as well Carlos Alcaraz and where Novak Djokovic was at this age. And actually, you look at it on all these key metrics, Alcaraz is actually ahead. He's won one more Grand Slam title. Remember, this is Djokovic at his age at this point. He's also won more singles titles, and his win percentage overall as well, and on clay where they're playing here, and on hard, Djokovic's best surface. He's probably been the best hard court player this generation over the last 10, 15 years, as well as of his career. But Alcaraz is doing better in all those key aspects, which again, it just builds on the point why everyone is so excited about him and what he's bringing at the top of the game and whether he can upset the Serb here in this one. But it is an interesting way to look at it, what he's already done at this point in his career compared to where Djokovic was at that stage.
Well, Mark, during the warm-up, you were talking about this match perhaps coming down to Novak Djokovic. Signs so far that we've got the Djokovic of the final 2 sets against Khachanov rather than the first 2 sets. Still very early days. On serve, Alcaraz 1-2. First time he's had a middle short ball. And he will know today the drop shot has got to be right on the money. One of the quickest guys in the business, even at the age of 36.
And Djokovic looked like he would have arrived with enough time to have a chance of playing the next shot. Alcaraz sending it wide. So on that ad court as well, Pete, I'm not sure that Alcaraz will have as much joy throwing in the 3-quarter kick out wide, given that Djokovic stands closer to the baseline than any of the 4 players that are in the semi-finals today, whether he's returning first serve or second serve.
That's really well played. Gasps from this court Philippe Chatrier crowd every time he connects with one of those bazooka-like forehands. Takes something pretty special to get Djokovic on the stretch from that position.
Does. And that final forehand that he followed in behind the net, it actually had more height. It was bazooka-like on the first 2 strikes.
Well, we're only 14 minutes in, and already this has all the signs of a classic.
Well, Djokovic holding his ground. That's a great effort to make that one, but then just hovers. Racket ready. You see Alcaraz on the backhand volley, though, took one giant step out to connect. Forgot to take a couple of little steps in between.
It's just the level of tennis, isn't it? little intricacies that we're watching already. I mean, this serve, in fact, it didn't show the serve, but slightly out of place. And if it's only slightly out of place, you're in trouble.
Just like Alcaraz was when he was trying to recover back into the middle of the court. He was just slightly out of place, and a break point appears for Djokovic.
Merci.
Just incredible.
Djokovic.
First strike to Novak Djokovic as he breaks early in this semi-final. But what a point.
Pete, does that answer which Novak Djokovic has arrived to the court today? He wasn't going to let that point go at all, Djokovic. We heard early on today that he was in this arriving with such tremendous focus, wasn't distracted after practicing early today.
He looks dialed in. That's the early break, a 3-1 lead for the world number 3. Just to expand on the story of Djokovic being that much more focused this morning, we have Chris Bowers, who's one of Novak Djokovic's biographers, here as part of our commentary team, and said usually whenever he sees Novak in and around the grounds, he'll nod, smile, say hello. Didn't even look up. There was no sort of stopping or anything, just head down, towel over his head, as if he was about to go into a Rocky movie-esque boxing match. The contrast, of course, was Alcaraz this morning, signing lots of autographs, smiling, chatting to everyone. He is someone who just seems to enjoy every aspect of life. It's the one word. I think we should get a counter every time he does a press conference and says the word enjoy, because he just talks about enjoying life all the time. Why not? World number 1, Grand Slam champion already.
At 20.
And he's got him again. These little jewels going the way of Novak Djokovic right now.
So he's not exposing himself early on in this match either, Djokovic. Alcaraz not seeing too many second serves, only 2 so far. So outstanding serving by Djokovic. And it's not like he's throwing half-pace serves in.
Merci.
And it's that shot there, the backhand up the line, that we've seen him use. It's the same off the forehand, up the line, when he's playing against Nadal with success. You can see the ball. It's just a very little rotation. Hit the surface. Almost like reactor stayed a lot lower than what we'd expect from clay.
Make sure it doesn't happen during the point.
Yeah, a little bit of an electrical issue with the electronic scoreboards. Yesterday they went out completely and then recovered. And they're really taught being smart here. She's just phoning through because, as she's saying there, doesn't want this to happen during the point. So just play will be delayed momentarily.
Not at both ends, it's just up the end behind Djokovic where he's serving. Now it's been restored.
Someone's taken the elbow off the button. Delay. Really not suiting Djokovic, who's found his groove very early on here. Still with the game point, though. Djokovic backs up the break. A stunning start in truth for the two-time Roland-Garros champion. Leads 4-1 first set.
Well, we see a point unfold. This helped Djokovic break the Alcaraz serve. Nice and steady as he slides into the forehand and then recovers back into the middle of the court for probably the easiest shot of that rally. There's the reaction. 22 Grand Slams are under his sleeve, hoping for number 23 here at Roland-Garros 2023.
I mentioned the world #1 earlier. Incidentally, this match may will be pivotal to who will be world #1. If Alcaraz wins, he will secure it. So come Monday, he will still be world #1 after this tournament. If Djokovic wins, he'll have to win the title, but he'll then regain top spot in the rankings. So much at stake.
What do you think, Pete, means more to Djokovic at this stage? That #1 ranking or taking 23?
I think it's an easy answer. And, you know, considering he's already set the record for consecutive weeks at world #1, but 23. I mean, he said it himself, he's all about the Grand Slams now, really.
Yep.
In terms of even his training process, making sure he's fit and fresh for these events more than anything else. First ace for Alcaraz. Here's the Carlitos sign. Of course, I said this earlier on. He prefers to go as Carlitos rather than Carlos. He believes that's what his mum would call him, or Charlie, he likes. But we're going to continue to call him Carlos for now. Just saying, good shot, super return. Everything working well for the Serb so far.
Just absorbing, compact return. Tsitsipas was taking big swings at those serves, missing. Shapovalov was just way off the mark, could hardly connect sometimes.
Well, don't often see Djokovic lose his footing like that. Didn't see the stop overhead, can you call that, from Alcaraz?
Oh, eyes were on the ball. It looked like he was tracking it, but the feet just went from underneath him. Yeah, and that's the ability of Alcaraz. Pretty balanced, isn't he, Pete, with that forehand from the middle of the court, whether he goes in the off direction or just cross court.
Premier service.
Just didn't quite catch the drive volley right, Djokovic, and is made to pay. And as we've said throughout this tournament, Carlos Alcaraz is very good at just gathering his thoughts, pressing the reset button. He wouldn't have been overly happy with the start that he's made, but a very good hold there from 15-30 down.
Yeah, having a look at that swing volley. He possibly got it a little too high. Wasn't cleanly struck. And we mentioned before, when Alcaraz lost his serve, when he was just a fraction out of position, he was made to pay. He didn't get caught out of position with that forehand that he was able to thread up the line.
It's a stunning backhand on the run from Alcaraz to turn the rally on its head.
It's going to happen though, isn't it? He's going to be able to make some shots like that. And this one is, well, it's just a matter of holding on the forehand. But Djokovic played the point exceptionally well. He'll never have a 100% record moving forward.
Yeah, talking about moving forward, that's the 9th time Djokovic has come to the net. Clearly a tactic he's decided to go with this afternoon. Make that a 10th time. And actually, Mark, we were having a chat off air, weren't we, in terms of tactics against Alcaraz. Lost to Marochan in Rome, lost to Gaston at Paris-Bercy a couple of years ago, and where he lost was players coming forward and drop-shotting and junking him around, which got him out of a rhythm. We wondered whether we'd see that from Djokovic, and if we were to see that, that would mean that he felt that maybe Alcaraz has the bigger shots from the back in that back-to-back duel. So clearly this is something that Djokovic has decided might work against Alcaraz, and so far so good. It does seem that Djokovic is either wanting to get forward or throwing the drop, which is unusual because usually you would think Djokovic would back himself in the longer rallies. 7th unforced error from the serve.
And he has to play in this manner because it's the rhythm that, much like Nadal so desired, as does Alcaraz as well. So to play, you know, going forward, bring Alcaraz in as well. Longer rallies, they're going to be coming.
An opportunity missed, and that was an area in the previous match we didn't really see Alcaraz miss at all. That's a rarity.
I wonder whether this is a reaction to the score. At the moment, I think he's feeling the pressure. Not more than, don't want to say more than Djokovic, but there's tension.
I just think the way Djokovic has started this match, we talked about him being like a chess player. He's playing this chess game a little different to, I think, what Alcaraz was expecting, which is why he's such a great chess player. It's perhaps caught the Spaniard out. Just maybe skidded through more than he was expecting. Reminder as well that this is the last game with these balls, so it will be a little tougher to hit through the court, a little bit fluffier. Is wide, 14 millimeters wide according to Hawkeye. It's a little bit of pressure on this second serve at deuce for Djokovic. How often do you see that?
Well, up until that second serve, he'd only won 1 point in the 5 that he's had to send down. It's 1 of 6.
And the crowd getting excited. A chance for the 20-year-old to get the break back. Oh, well, a scrappy point. Djokovic survives.
And just that second serve barely made it over the net, and it was awfully short.
Second serve was only 2 Ks faster than his average forehand speed. That's how slow it was, and I think it was so slow, it caught Alcaraz out.
was into play at least. Shovel it over if need be.
Suddenly, though, he's lost a rhythm on the serve here, Djokovic. Yeah, didn't do enough with the volley. And once again, Alcaraz finds the pass.
Well,
Avantage, Alcaraz.
the forehand volley just didn't get that angle. Perhaps that would have been better to have played it short into the box. Went for a bit of depth, deep into the corner. Forehand pass again from Alcaraz up the line. Maybe just for Djokovic to file that one away as well.
Second break point for Alcaraz. Just hasn't been able to find his A game in the big moments as of yet, Alcaraz. Pivotal game, you feel, in this opening set. Not a reaction you see all that often, at least in his young career, but as we were saying coming into this one, this is a new experience for Alcaraz.
And I think the difference there, we spoke earlier, the two-hander as opposed to a one-handed backhand, who this tournament would have actually got out to that backhand and then sent it back with something a little extra. That's the greatness, the level that Djokovic brings to this match.
That's a great forehand again from Alcaraz, though. Such sting, no matter where he is on the court.
Égalité.
Is this match shifting a little? Talking about these two coming into the game, we were seeing Djokovic get forward a lot. He's been passed a couple of times in this game, so now maybe electing to stay back. He's missing a few more first serves too.
Yeah, I think that's the key there, the missing the first serve. So he's not in control of the point within the first strike. He's actually having to defend when that second serve is exposed.
Gets it done. Tricky conditions, big gust of wind, but great aggressive control from the former world number one.
It was. And Peter, I think also the wind has actually played a factor in this game for Djokovic. It's just when he's having to hit a second serve as well, but he was certainly reaching for a few of those forehands, but nice to see that he did cover the line.
Incidentally, he's getting 30% of his points he's playing inside the baseline. That's up 7% on previous rounds. Djokovic has been taking it to Alcaraz in these early exchanges. When you consider Alcaraz hits a bigger ball than pretty much any of Djokovic's previous opponents as well. What an epic game this has been. It's a massive hold for Novak Djokovic. The big moments so far are going the way of the 22-time Grand Slam champion. Leads 5-2. Well, it was interesting this morning. You know, everyone was talking about this matchup and talking to fans and colleagues alike, asking who they thought would win this one. A majority were going with Carlos Alcaraz, and I think sometimes we forget about what a legend Novak Djokovic is. Incidentally, his last 20 semi-finals at Grand Slam level, he's won 19 of them. So, you know, this is a position that he has been in time and time again and dealt with time and time again, whereas it's pretty new still. Yeah, for this man. Early in the journey.
Djokovic made that comment that, you know, he's not bringing any injuries, carrying any coming into the tournament. When there was asked a few questions about his form, but he said, "I've been there. I've been through this many times." He feels like that's the edge that he brings.
Well, we've described it a bit like a boxing match, haven't we, before? Mike Tyson courtside. It's Djokovic who's landed the first blow, but Alcaraz still very much on his feet.
Which way was that camera of Mike Tyson's directed? Was he trying to get an up-close photo of Djokovic or Alcaraz? He is up the end of Djokovic, just to the left of Novak right now.
They have met before. He is a Djokovic fan. But I'm sure he's also an Alcaraz fan. I think it's hard not to like either of these two. The greatest player of all time, perhaps, Novak Djokovic, against someone who's just brought so much to this sport already.
There's that play. He's had success with it throughout the tournament. Today, not quite as the win rate, not as high. In fact, he had to go backwards there. It's unusual to see Alcaraz go back
Incidentally, Tyson has described Djokovic as his favourite player in the past. He just loves his mental strength and personality, so I reckon it was pointing in the Serb's direction.
The towel box is actually almost right there in front of Mike Tyson's seats.
Oh, and again, a little bit of cat and mouse from Djokovic. I just feel he's and his team have done the research, as in these little intricate points. It's not allowing Alcaraz any real flow.
Merci. Avantage, Alcaraz.
For you, Mark, I mean, look, it's still a tight contest. We've seen tight games here, but is there anything you'd like to see Carlos Alcaraz do to react to this situation?
Well, there's a long road to travel still. Just at the moment, he's just losing this little arm wrestle. Still only that one break of serve, and it's not that he played badly, it was taken from him because of that high level that Djokovic displayed. So, not sure if he has to change much.
It's just immaculate ball striking from Djokovic. The length was superb from Alcaraz, but as he has been throughout his career, Djokovic unflustered.
Hence the reason he has accumulated to 22 of these titles.
Set point for the world number 3.
Standing a little wider is Alcaraz on this point.
And there's something a little different, and it works.
Novak has sent that one up to height, looking for the depth. Alcaraz that time not going backwards. You have to stay calm when you're in no man's land, playing that drive volley.
Super serve. Second ace for the Spaniard. He's had an astonishing first serve percentage in this match, 82%, but he's only won 57% of the points behind that first serve, which shows you how well Djokovic has been returning and reading it. Right into the corner. And Alcaraz will ask the question of Novak Djokovic as to whether he can serve this opening set out. Saves the set point too.
Djokovic mène 5-3.
in the last game, Djokovic's first serve percentage has dropped. And this time, Alcaraz taking full advantage of it was a pretty slow second serve, 141 Ks. Superb, and a big difference when he finds the first serve.
Yeah, options are available. I think over many years we've admired his ability behind that serve. First or second, to be so close, place it well to the lines, forcing the opponents to make that defensive response, and he just takes control of the rally quickly. He was willing to roll the dice there. 186 Ks, second serve.
Such a huge difference right now between first serve points won compared to second serve points won. No surprises that our director decided to cut to Goran Ivanisevic when someone goes for a second serve like that.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure why he shook his head, because he was constantly going for the big seconds.
Oh, majestic. The power with the touch and feel.
Well, he almost lost this point. Djokovic got there, just couldn't do enough with this one cross court. Still, Alcaraz had to control the ball over it. Number 3 seed's head.
I mean, the get from Djokovic was quite simply out of this world. That was 166 Ks, the forehand from Alcaraz, but he kept his composure. And here's another break point for the Spaniard. That's such a huge difference. I mean, Djokovic right now winning 78% of the points when he finds the first serve, just 25 when he misses it. Could do with a couple of first serves to get over the line in this opening set. He's been pretty good at saving the break points throughout this tournament.
Djokovic.
Second set point for Novak Djokovic. quite simply a brilliant set of tennis from Novak Djokovic. Tactically astute and playing the bigger points better as he secures the opening set by 6-3 in 56 minutes. Well, Mark, there were many things to be impressed with in that opening set from Novak Djokovic, but what for you stood out the most?
Well, happy to see Novak Djokovic arrive ready to play. And the fact that he held his composure under a lot of pressure there in the last 2 service games. And I think it highlights his ability to defend. He was able to absorb some of the power coming from Alcaraz at the end of the court. And no real kind of emotion displayed by Novak. When he's won some key points, that's been the positive reinforcement, but we've seen a little tension come from Alcaraz, maybe surprised that he's lost that first set, went down an early break. It's a scenario that he avoided in all of his matches. So whilst this is something new early in his journey, but I think that was the first time in the tournament that he actually went down a service break.
I think Musetti broke him early. That's the only time, though.
Bounced back immediately.
Bounced back straight away. I think won five games straight.
Didn't drop the set. And Musetti, bit of a gap between the Italian at this stage. Sorry, Lorenzo.
Very good player, but not Novak Djokovic. So it's going to be interesting to hear something that hasn't happened to Alcaraz, is he's not trailed by a set. One set he did lose was to Taro Daniel, which was the second set. And reacted very well then, won the third 6-1.
That Novak started to have a bit of trouble with the wind on his service game when he was going up to try and hold serve. Played a titanic 13-minute game, but he seemed a little confused with the breeze, the way it was handling some of the shots, bothering, changing.
The drop shot hasn't been too successful for Alcaraz so far today. Hasn't really been allowed to get it in. That one worked well. Love service hold then for Alcaraz. Confident start to set 2 for the world number 1. And you do have to remind yourself that this is just his second Grand Slam semi-final, his first here at Roland-Garros, compared to a 45th Grand Slam semi-final for the Serb, and a 12th here at Roland-Garros. Alcaraz, who is looking to be the youngest man to win 2 different Grand Slam titles since Mats Wilander won Roland-Garros at the age of 17. That was back in 1982, and then went and won at the Australian Open at the age of 19 in 1983. To do that, though, it's got to get past Novak Djokovic today. It's got to give Djokovic a lot of confidence, able to turn the rally around against Alcaraz. And these are the types of points that throughout these championships, Mark, we just haven't seen. When Alcaraz has got on top of rallies, more often than not, he's won them. Has he found the baseline? He has just. There's that smile we haven't really seen so far today.
Late change, just trying to fool Djokovic, perhaps. Certainly was heading in the other direction, Novak. So not shy about going after that second serve. Still a good ploy, good tactic. Just wonder whether Alcaraz might make just some smaller changes when he's returning the first serve. It seems like he's coming in a little closer on this next point.
That is still 100% success rate for Djokovic when serving out wide. Just wonder whether he's going to start edging that way. Alcaraz, 10 from 10 now, serving into that direction behind the first serve.
Well, the further back that that Alcaraz does stand to return serve, it will open up wide and wide on both sides.
Seemingly a little unsettled, Alcaraz.
Yeah, still trying to find that comfort zone, where to return, where to position himself. He yet to break serve, and that's probably a little unusual for Alcaraz.
Oh my word! Shot of the tournament, shot of the year, perhaps the century. Even the great Novak Djokovic can't quite believe what he has just witnessed.
It's amazing. Never gives up. Don't forget, look at that. He's got to hit the ball with his back turned to the direction that he wants to hit it. And you only get 1 point for that.
Maybe, though, that could be the point that turns the match. I have to love the Djokovic response to it, though, Mark. I mean, what we just witnessed was something very, very special. I've never seen a shot like that. And I watch a lot of tennis. And it's why there is so much hype around Carlos Alcaraz, why he's so popular. Of course, not only for playing shots like that, how he handles himself off the court, how he smiles on the court. But what a shot maker he is. This is why Djokovic is so impressive. One of hundreds of reasons. Unaffected by the astonishing shot from Alcaraz. He's just reset, dialed in, nothing's really changed. And it is Djokovic who's winning the majority of the rallies over 8. Oh, he's missed that one. Got to give credit to the reaction skills of Alcaraz. Important hold for the Spaniard. And those that are now coming back into the stadium may not know what they just missed. Alcaraz leads 2-1. Have you ever seen a shot like that, Mark?
Yep, I have with a player from a few decades ago. Guillermo Vilas was a player that I've seen something very similar. But have a look at the wheels here. It just seems like it's all footwork. Knows exactly where the court is. Just trying to, on that drop shot, just trying to, again, fool Djokovic with the racket work.
I mean, to me, it didn't look possible. It still doesn't look possible. Well, the Spanish fans will have enjoyed that mesmerising shot in the previous game from their man. Might not be enjoying the scoreline, but still a good hold from the world number 1. Of course, Alcaraz incidentally hit a shot around the net post in round 1, but for me, that shot we just witnessed in terms of the speed he was going, in terms of how far the ball was behind him or in front of him, tops the lot. Meanwhile, Djokovic serving 1-2 second set.
Just starting to build again. The first points, it seems like a trend that is going against Djokovic on serve now. Better be careful. Doesn't want to surrender another point. find himself in a deeper hole. It helps when he lands that first serve.
And of course, it was at this stage in the first set that Djokovic was able to break Alcaraz.
Just a comfortable play. Serve +1.
I hope he's okay. Good to see up on his feet. And again, Djokovic has won the majority of these little dinky duels.
Well, it was definitely a three-quarter serve, kick out wide, just a change of pace. But Alcaraz is deep. He's gone back to a position probably that it's akin to how he's returned throughout the tournament. And in combination with Djokovic finding the first serves, he's able to control the point, and that shot is on for Djokovic. He's executing it from the beginning of the match.
Former Roland-Garros finalist Guillermo Coria is one of the best in the business at the drop shots, known as a drop shot king. He listed two other players along with Alcaraz who he thought were the best in the business in today's game, and Djokovic was one of those two, and I think we're seeing that this afternoon. It's a shot that has been talked about at great length due to Alcaraz and the amount of times he plays it, but I always feel the matches that he loses are often when his opponent gets to the drop shot first, and Djokovic playing a little more than him right now. It's tennis from another planet. Even from the first strike, the return was bonkers from Djokovic. And he continued to ask questions throughout, but this time, it's Alcaraz who has the answers.
15-0.
1-6-7 at forehand from Alcaraz.
Defense of Djokovic. Yeah, and that's what we maybe thought might be just the subtle difference, his ability to absorb Some incredible shot-making, heavy strikes from Alcaraz. Just coming back from Djokovic's end of the court.
Just a pleasure to watch these two as tussle at the back of the court.
Yeah, big. Djokovic matches the forehand power. And perhaps a little surprised by the quality of the Alcaraz forehand redirected up the line. It's moved across laterally, out of position.
That corner of the court, struggled with a bounce there earlier on. It skidded through. This time it was held up.
Yeah, Djokovic was getting around as he normally does when guys hit that backhand slice that just sit up.
Another service game ticked in the box for Carlos Alcaraz. And it's the Spaniard who leads 3-2, second set. Another stunning day in Paris. Very hot too, hottest day of the tournament. That's why you see the majority of the spectators with hats on. Coming into this event, everyone was talking about these two meeting at a Grand Slam for the first time. They both said how much they wanted it to happen. So far, for me, this has lived up to the hype. Titanic tussle, which is still very much in the balance. On serve in this second set. 2-3. And having success with the wide serve. Just wonder whether Alcaraz adjusts that first serve return position. Djokovic has won 78% of points behind the first serve so far this afternoon. Good numbers. Varied the second serve return position, Alcaraz, throughout this contest. Sometimes electing to stay deep, sometimes getting inside the baseline. Mark, I know this is a question that shouldn't really be answered now, but if Djokovic does go on to win this match, then win the tournament, does that solidify him as the greatest as he gets to 23?
Until someone surpasses that number, I think that's a very valid title.
It's on the slams for you? Not factoring Olympic goals or other tournaments?
No.
World #1 length of time?
No.
Okay. Djokovic leads in a lot of the brackets. The Olympic Games is the one that has always got away from him. But in terms of Masters titles, in terms of titles overall, finals overall, length of time at world #1, ATP Tour finals victories, the statistics in his favour. Still we remain on serve. Going fairly unscathed so far in set 2.
And to win that point, Djokovic, that two-handed backhand, that's there's no vulnerable wing on the Djokovic game on the baseline. So Alcaraz is not getting any of the shorter balls that he would have seen against the last 3 opponents, all single-handed backhands. Tsitsipas, Musetti, Shapovalov.
He's missed it. You do not know what Alcaraz is going to do when he's winding up for the forehand. But Djokovic was there with plenty of time.
Yeah, he was. Just tried to keep the point alive there on the backhand before he started to chase the drop shot. Might have gassed him that last rally a little bit to Djokovic. It's a heavy point.
It's an excellent lob.
So then maybe the crowd realising the importance of this game. 3 games apiece.
That's been a big turnaround as well. Incidentally, the net points won. Oh, coolly done.
Yeah, the quality of the drop shot by Alcaraz, the first one, made it very difficult for Djokovic. Generally does go for the angled response, Djokovic.
Premier service.
Oh, he's done it again. Wow. This time long. That will no doubt have been logged by Alcaraz.
I wonder with this one, as he moves forward, that the slide didn't stop as he went to hit the ball. He actually was still sliding as he made contact. Perhaps not as balanced as he would like.
A couple of missed opportunities for Djokovic in the game. In terms of emotion, Alcaraz looking happier. Leads 4-3, second set.
So just a few more murmurs around the grounds or this centre court. And, the trainer just coming out onto the court there, and just Djokovic's right hand, as it seems, just giving it a bit of a flick. But certainly, as the music starts the band, we've made a daily appearance here. But, the crowd also sensing now 7 games into the second set, getting to the meaty part of the set.
I just wonder on the missed backhands, Mark, whether the wrist had anything to do with it. Well, as you can see, Novak Djokovic calling a medical timeout. He's just been feeling the wrist, the right wrist, that is. A couple of times, of course, he's mentioned a lot coming into this year's championships and during them that you get way more wear and tear at the age of 36 and niggles throughout the tournament. He's generally looked pretty fit and healthy. He's had a little bit of treatment for a hip injury. That was in his second round match. I just mentioned to you, Mark, I just wonder whether that wrist caused him grief on those 2 short backhands where you want to roll over the ball, and he clearly didn't roll enough on the 2 backhands he missed in the previous game.
Quite possibly.
But as he's also talked about right from the start of this tournament, saying that this is what he loves the most, Grand Slam tennis. The fact you've got 5 sets gives you a little more leeway. You can build your way into the event, build the confidence, which he's done, you feel, almost throughout each and every round here. And you've got that extra day of rest in between matches, which at the age of 36, I think he quite likes.
And had a good, thorough test against Khachanov. In some ways, similar, the power that was redlined from the very first point. Khachanov behind the first serve, sending down bullets from the forehand wing as well as the backhand wing, and really forced Djokovic to defend.
1 minute remaining.
Was outplayed in the first set. Was fortunate to survive in the second set, and just that lengthy battle probably has just primed him for what he's facing today.
Yeah, I just wonder, a question I didn't ask you at the beginning. You know, we always talk about battle hardened. Djokovic referenced it in his press conference in terms of he felt that turning a match like that around serves for great confidence booster mentally and also physically and emotionally for him. He said the fact he was able to deal with that adversity, whereas Alcaraz hasn't really had that. So do you feel that's perhaps that first set what we saw, Djokovic a little more battle hardened? Or am I just making that up as a journalist?
Djokovic is coming out and playing his game. You know, he's devised a game plan. It is very detailed with data analysis beforehand, which would have been provided for him the moment that he recognized that he was going to be playing Carlos Alcaraz, and he's just stuck to the game, to his game plan.
Well, he had an elbow issue, of course, coming into the tournament. Caused him to miss Madrid. He's talked about the elbow feeling fine despite the heavy balls. Just have to keep an eye on that right wrist, though. Received treatment, but seems to be okay. And serving now at 3-4. Big shout from Alcaraz. Knowing that his opponent perhaps a little wounded, might have just given him a bit of a lift.
And coming to just the meaty part of this set now. This is the end of the set is within eyesight.
As Alcaraz walks up to the mark here, as we see a replay, he's berating himself the fact that the server's found the line. Second ace for Djokovic. In terms of the wrist, by the way, Kais and Hawkeye believe he might be hitting the forehand too hard in this set. Djokovic, he's gone up from 121 k's average speed to 131. Actually now up to 133 in set 2. Just relentless from Alcaraz.
And the crowd delighted. They want to see a battle between these two. Djokovic just taking his time, just stepping away from the line. He's back up there now, just waiting for the crowd to calm down.
Oh, well, it thought about bobbling over. But still, we wait for the first break points in this second set.
And there's Djokovic going with that angle. If he'd hit that with some depth, I think that opens up the court for Alcaraz a little more. I think that he had to travel a little more across the court there. Breathing space for Djokovic, perhaps.
Just overcooked it.
Oh, he might have a little fortunate there, Alcaraz. I think that skidded off the line. Just a little further away from Djokovic.
Incidentally, the second serve, which Djokovic took a long time before he struck it. We are seeing a lot of bounces of the ball, 120 Ks. Extremely slow and short. So if he misses the first serve here, you just wonder what will happen, because it is a break point as well for the world number one. Still can't convert on the break point. It's now 5 out of 5 that have been saved from Djokovic.
And Novak trying to remain calm in that rally.
The grunts seem to get louder, that's for sure. No, he's missed it. Terrific defense from Alcaraz. Recovering from corner to corner.
Avantage, Alcaraz.
Djokovic trying to get to net there. Not out the middle of the racket. Perhaps a little low in towards the throat. Ball just came out off the racket strings faster. Djokovic winding the clock down. The last couple of points, he's been borderline.
Alcaraz breaks. And the reaction tells its own story.
Was building. Just kept applying that pressure. Djokovic's serve wasn't getting as many cheap points, finding as many first serves into play.
So now a chance to serve to level the match.
Merci. S'il vous plaît, les joueurs sont prêts, merci. Merci, c'est bon.
Monstrous hitting.
Well, the forehand for Alcaraz in that last game certainly aided him, helped create the breaker serve. Just trying to keep on using that forehand in the opening point. Djokovic matching him with the power.
He's going a lot bigger, incidentally, to the forehand side with the forehand. Djokovic, when he's redirecting, it's a little slower.
This is taking a bit out of Djokovic. He wins that battle again. Heavy.
Incredible though, Mark. It seems like he's the one who's hitting bigger now than Alcaraz. 148 average forehand speed for Djokovic in the last 2 rallies. That's how big he's striking it. He's turned the dial up to 11.
Yeah, trying to respond here.
Oh, what a serve that is. Something I was actually just about to mention. I mean, it's been dreamlike first serve percentage for Alcaraz. Still at 79% first serve percentage in this match.
Smack in the corner. It's a free point, especially after the exhausting rally the point before. Now Djokovic's turn to just give some breathing space behind the baseline.
No, he's overcooked it.
Well, Djokovic hasn't really come up short when he's chasing down the Alcaraz drop shot today. And, it's set up a break point, his first for this set. As Alcaraz still go with the wide serve here on the ad court.
Oh, wow. Well, Alcaraz must have had his heart in his mouth momentarily. Another shot, not missing by much.
Oh, and there's a roll of the dice, Alcaraz. Serve and volley behind the second serve.
Well, we see it all the time from great champions, don't we? Playing the big tennis in the big moments, backing themselves. Oh, he's overcooked it again. He can't believe it. Maybe had too much time.
Well, did he need to hit it with this much sting? Djokovic read the drop shot again. The shot was there. He had the opening. Really over-rotated.
Second break point for Novak Djokovic. It's an astounding couple of strikes from Djokovic. A sensational return is backed up by a blistering backhand as Djokovic breaks back straight away. Found something from somewhere in that game, and we talked about the forehand, Mark. How about this final point?
Seen it, kind of expected it. And, I think he might be a little fortunate that he got to see another break point after Alcaraz saving the previous break point, with only the second time that he served and volleyed behind a second serve in the whole tournament. So a massive surprise. That glare, the Djokovic glare.
Please.
Stunning views. Clouds have been banned from this year's tournament. Although that might change tomorrow, incidentally. More inclement weather coming. Women's final stay tomorrow. Karolina Muchova against Iga Świątek. Świątek, another player who plays big in the big moments, steps up. And they've both done that here. As Mark was saying at the sit-down, if you weren't with us, that second serve and volley from Alcaraz is the second time in the tournament that he's done that. But what a final point from the 22-time Grand Slam champion to keep himself in this set, getting the break back, and now looking to get back to 5-all. Oh, we're going to see a third straight breaker serve. Maybe Alcaraz's turn to react. Of course, something we have to remind ourselves. We've been talking about how Djokovic's forehand got bigger in the previous game. Reminded the player, this side is playing with the wind. And that one certainly flew away from Djokovic.
Merci.
Oh, more awesome ball striking from Alcaraz.
Oh, that's the shot, the backhand up the line. Forehand, not as much weight on it by Djokovic. He's had to defend it, but back into play. And it's the power of Alcaraz shining. Hoping to wrestle this set.
Merci.
As you can see, the wind. Again, meaning Djokovic wanting to play the drop shot into the wind, but Alcaraz there with plenty of time.
Yeah, and it's the depth that Alcaraz is attaining up this end of the court. As you said, Pete, it's with the wind. So he's getting a little extra bite on the ball, heaviness. That drop shot didn't fade as much as what Novak was hoping for, and Alcaraz able to find the open court.
3 set points for the world number 1.
Merci beaucoup.
Oh, well, if he'd won that point, we might have all just walked away. I mean, the court coverage, just insane. And you've got to love the reaction.
And that was it's certainly impressive by Djokovic, corner to corner with max power.
It's a cracking atmosphere. Everyone transfixed by this semi-final, as I think everyone knew they would be. Still 2 more set points, though, for Alcaraz.
I wonder how those legs are feeling after that previous point of Alcaraz.
What was it we were saying in the previous game about big players? Backing themselves in the big moments. A while since he last serve and volleyed. Still 1 set point remains. Wow.
Fantastic serve. Felt like that when he elevated this ball up, it might have drifted a little too far in the court. Seemed like that he went chasing after it, but quite often during your swing, you make those slight adjustments.
8 out of 9 break points saved by Djokovic. The last 3 being set points, of course. Serving his way out of trouble right now.
It looks like he's... this is activating the serve and volley right now. After that gut-wrenching rally to go down love 40. And it seems like he's recognised that Alcaraz has got to be gassed as well. And if Alcaraz is deep to return serve, Djokovic is throwing that serve and volley in now.
Well, Alcaraz called Djokovic a legend before this match. That was a legendary recovery.
Well, people are standing, the fans on their feet applauding that comeback. Almost feel like we should be on our knees and saying that is too good. Massive response by Djokovic from love 40. Might have just hurt a little bit the Alcaraz psyche.
Oh, everything going his way right now. 6 points in a row. Got Tyson courtside. Is Alcaraz on the ropes a little here?
Well, he'd probably feeling that pain from not winning this set. He was planning on being on the changeover still. Match locked at 1 set apiece, and he's had to quickly respond.
not sure it's humanly possible. How on earth did Carlos Alcaraz win that point? And he might have been on the ropes, but that's a big blow back from the Spaniard.
Yeah, I think Djokovic maybe went with the wrong shot. He had a forehand mid-court, maybe went for some depth instead of trying a drop shot or at least a shorter ball. So the distance that Alcaraz had to travel was nowhere near as great. You might see a few more drop shots. These guys are trying to take the legs from under each other. Too good, too good.
Are you sure they're human? Have they been tested for that?
Well, again, it's Djokovic who works with a team specific that provides data. A favoured shot at a particular time. I think that's kind of what he's tracking towards.
What a response from Alcaraz after losing 6 points in a row. Then goes and plays those 2 points. And more top-tier tennis from both of these players. We were hoping they would both bring their A game, and they've both hit a purple patch at seemingly the same time.
Yeah. And that approach shot from Alcaraz, a little different from what we've seen throughout the tournament. It's more, he's been going into the open court, and so the first volley is generally into the open court. That time he had to play a tough shoelace volley. And I think he might have ended up at net because he's the fatigue. He has to be feeling it in those quads. Oh boy, oh boy. That's a shot. Communication there. I think Goran a little surprised that he missed it as well.
I just wonder whether, talk about Alcaraz feeling it, I think Djokovic is feeling it as well, and maybe that was...
Yeah, if Alcaraz is feeling it, certainly Djokovic is too.
Oh. Just nothing safe wherever the ball is. Alcaraz still able to hook it back, but Djokovic this time is there.
He's certainly trusting himself, Djokovic. Given that the speed of Alcaraz is mind-blowing.
Dexterity too, what he's able to do at that speed.
It wasn't an easy forehand volley to finish the point with by Djokovic. Just trying to hit his way through that point with the serve and the backhand. Maybe overdoes it.
He's been better on the break points. Novak Djokovic. And he's got another one here.
And he's in a little closer as well to the baseline to return this serve. Alcaraz having to take some pace off of his shots, the serve. A couple of strikes that he had.
Will he get a better chance to break? After 4 incredible points in a row, a couple of points where, understandably so, it's been lapses. Gutsy second serve from Alcaraz. It's a shot that he's really improved. When he first broke out onto the scene, that was the one area everyone said needed to be a little better. And over the last 18 months or so, it certainly has improved. 183 Ks into the body. And it's his turn to try and wriggle out of the game. Yeah, you can understand that reaction. This time it's Alcaraz's turn to dig in. A brilliant hold, missed opportunity for Djokovic. Both players sucking in the oxygen. What a couple of games. Alcaraz leads 6-5 in the second.
Taking some heavy strikes at each other, jabs. This was the amazing point. That's the forehand that Djokovic perhaps could have played a shorter ball. Point was kept alive. Legs are going to be burning at that stage.
Please.
Well, remember when Novak Djokovic won his second Roland-Garros title here in 2021. He had that incredible third set against Rafael Nadal in the semi-finals, which he won 7-6. There were so many twists and turns. It was rich in quality. If you remember, it was when there was a curfew here, and we were saying the fans aren't ever going to leave because it was during the pandemic, and there was then government instruction for the fans to stay in. But it's felt like a similar sort of set, this one. Of course, Djokovic went on to win that third set, and then Nadal was almost a spent force in the fourth. This, you feel, could be the crucial set in the match with what they've both put into it. Djokovic serving to stay in the set again. This time 5-6. Nope.
And neither player taking a real dip in form. Number of matches saw Alcaraz, in particular when he had built a lead, he would almost go a little over too far over the top with trying to overpower opponents, lose momentum. He's maintained a pretty good level here, but as Djokovic has as well. A lot of investment going into this second set for Djokovic.
recovered from love 40 down in his last service game, Djokovic. And he's in a bit of a hole again.
And I think again that's caught some of the line. Just moving the ball. You can see the spin that was imparted.
Merci.
It's a green light right now. And there's a bit more energy, zip, power in the Alcaraz rally ball. Love 30, he just redlined.
Weary-looking Djokovic. He's already had multiple set points. You know what they say? Fourth time's a charm. It's Alcaraz who wins an epic set. Quite incredible from the 20-year-old. The fact he served for it, was up love 40, but shows his mettle to be able to react and win the second, 7-5. A little bit of information being given to Aureli Tort. It's from the moment you walk into the changing room. If you are changing, you get 5 minutes. So the fact that Djokovic walked out after 5 minutes and 50 seconds is probably within that time.
Yeah, and probably pushed home by Alcaraz being out on the court, wanting to get things going. So the crowd trying to follow the lead of a young 20-year-old.
That's terrific from Alcaraz.
So it's the combination of, you know, playing a point like this. Djokovic is chasing it, barely gets there, but Alcaraz has, on this next point, you know, he'll probably thunder down a huge serve and then have a crack at the first forehand. It's the power and finesse, the combination that makes him devastating.
Oh, I'm not sure what that has struck. Maybe they were striking the ball, though. Certainly haven't come out cold after that 5-minute delay. I'm not sure he would have been given out if he was caught behind.
Did he get a nick?
I don't think he got a nick.
No. Taking time away from Djokovic there. It's a body serve. Djokovic gets out of the way of it this time. As soon as it's hit high into the air, Alcaraz using his foot speed. Taking time away from Novak again.
This time. couple of times he's landed it right on the line. Started to have a little more success with a drop shot of late. First set and a half. He's winning only about 64% of the drop shot points compared to 85% for the tournament. But of course, that's because he's playing against one of the best anticipators and road runners that is Novak Djokovic. It's a great get from Alcaraz because he didn't read the play from Djokovic. But not only was he able to pick up the backhand, got length with it too.
40-30.
Seemed like that he just wasn't really in position. Not enough time to execute that drop shot.
What a combination. One of the big things that seems to be turning, Mark, in this one is those types of points. Djokovic seems a little unsure what to do off the drop shot right now.
Yeah, and when he is chasing it and he has to strike a two-hander backhand, it is going cross-court. He's there with that, enough time. Didn't do any damage with it. And I think he is feeling the effects. He's trainer. We know that they have a concoction of liquid fluid that helps with his fitness during the match. I think there will be some extra, maybe a little more intense electrolytes in the bottle that will be brought out, perhaps on the next change of ends. He needs some cocktail right now, Djokovic. The balance has maybe just edged towards Alcaraz now.
Oh, but a point like that will help. What do we say about him being the best counter-puncher in the business?
He may be flying the flag. But that would have taken a bit out of him there. A lot more freedom, it seems, from Alcaraz in that opening rally.
Merci. Merci.
Still able to get the return back. We've seen this before with Djokovic, where he has some lower patches in terms of where he just looks a little gassed. At the moment, that's the case. It's to, as you say, find something from somewhere, maybe the electrolytes in the drink.
Well, he needs to find something pretty quick.
Looks like Alcaraz is also seeing that Djokovic is struggling, so he's just decided to go a little further up for those second serve returns. As I say, in the first set he was varying that position, but he's circling his prey right now.
I think so.
He guessed the right way, Djokovic. And if he can somehow wriggle out of this game, that would give him a lift.
Great anticipation. And the ability just to remain calm when the ball is sent back your way. You've read your opponent.
Alcaraz, this time it's his turn to feel out his right wrist, incidentally.
Little cramp.
Maybe he just wants Djokovic to serve to the forehand. A bit of cramp here, yeah. Well, we were just talking about Djokovic and how he is seemingly feeling it. No doubt about it now, it's Alcaraz.
So isn't it amazing that the intensity that he has displayed?
We just hope this isn't anything more serious than cramp. As I say, I mean, he wheeled away prior to that point. I thought he was holding his wrist. He went down at his haunches.
It certainly is his right hand as well.
Yeah.
You can see it, his fingers spread out. It's just trying to relax, stretch out that calf.
Of course, you can't get treatment for cramping. He's going to have to take a warning, I think, in terms of... So he's going to get assessed now just to confirm it's cramping. Then he's forfeiting the points and getting the treatment. That was what Aurélie Tort said there. Another twist.
It seems like it's eased off there. For the moment.
Okay, he's going to give the points and then...
Mesdames et messieurs, Carlos Alcaraz demande un traitement médical immédiat pour crampe. Ce traitement ne pouvant intervenir qu'au changement de côté. Monsieur Alcaraz concède tous les points jusqu'au franchement changement de côté.
Okay, starting now.
So, chair umpire just making the announcement for the crowd of what will happen, which it seems like that he will lose some points the longer that the treatment takes place. So this is the last point that was played. You can see that as soon as he struck the ball and landed on the left leg, it was the right calf that seized up. And just dropping the racket as well to the ground. The right hand was right wrist, maybe forearm.
10 seconds.
Yeah, the rule, incidentally, is that a player is allowed to receive treatment for cramps, but only twice, and only during a change of sides or at the end of a set. So this is where he's had to forfeit some points. Didn't understand or really taught with how many points.
Well, in actual fact, Peter lost my way as well. It was the end of the game anyway.
But it only allowed treatment at the change of ends. Oh, so the game, he's forfeited the whole game. So it's a breaker serve for Nadal. Sorry, for Djokovic. I'm losing everything out here.
We're dealing with the stress.
Yeah.
Djokovic mène 2-1.
And as it was in French, sadly, my French isn't that strong, but that's why you're hearing boos. But Alcaraz was given the choice there and had to forfeit the game. So it's a breaker serve for Novak Djokovic. And there shouldn't really be boos because it was Alcaraz's own decision. So it's Djokovic who's up a break.
C'est le joueur qui a choisi cette décision. Merci beaucoup.
Yep.
S'il vous plaît.
That's smart for her to, you know, maybe take a bit of control here and really explain that it was the player's decision. This is not anything that she's controlling.
Yeah, incidentally, it must have been enough points to lose the game with how long they sat down for. Players are permitted, incidentally, to forfeit as many points as necessary to get to the next changeover, and that's what we saw Carlos Alcaraz do there. I mean, it was fairly obvious it was cramped from Alcaraz. It's a pretty easy diagnosis for the medic. And just when we thought it was Djokovic who was fatigued and on the ropes, maybe Alcaraz was masking it better. So does that change the strategy if you're Djokovic, Mark?
I think it maybe changes the strategy for Alcaraz. You can see that he just crowded that second serve. The next strike of the ball, just tried to go full throttle.
As I say, you can get one more treatment, Alcaraz, for the cramps, and the next sit down. But there's a long way to go in this match.
And look, Peter, it happened when, as you say, we were making that assessment that Djokovic was in trouble. And Alcaraz, no doubt at court level, could see that as well. And that might have contributed to the tension rising up in him. You said that it was like he was circling in the waters around his prey.
And the good news for Alcaraz is that he's still out there. And if he can find a way, I don't know whether he's got any pickle juice at the next sit down. Of course, a lot of physiotherapists say that can help. There isn't really any surefire way, though, to get rid of cramps. Oh, well, that's some get. And Alcaraz not even moving to the ball, which is a little worrying.
40-30.
Still dangerous, isn't he? Even on one leg, Alcaraz. What he can do with the ball.
Clearly just trying to stay relaxed. Ease those cramps. That's what's going to happen. Djokovic just has to absorb this. There will be times where Alcaraz will try the extreme shot.
He's just taking huge cuts at the ball right now, and the footwork isn't as sharp. And of course, his worry here, Mark, is if he spasms again and the whole body could go.
That's right. That's right. I think there was a little twinge there even at the end of that after striking the last forehand.
Just as I was mentioning what a physical specimen he is. But we've seen it all before. Djokovic has had issues in the past as well. It's a tidy game, almost an ideal game. The fact that it was dragged out for Djokovic. Of course, we saw Medvedev in the early parts of his career have issues with cramps, as did Andy Murray. I just wonder how he's going to manage serving as well, trying to push up. Mark, have you ever been in this situation, cramping before, so early on?
I have gone through had the experience of cramping in a match. Given some of the conditions we played in, being fair skin, red hair, the heat wasn't my main opponent. It was the humidity. It's never a nice feeling when you're going through this, because your heart tells you to keep fighting, and yet your body just doesn't respond.
I just hope he doesn't do any damage here. And as you say, with humidity, it is the hottest day of the championships. It's around about 31 degrees Celsius, and as you can see, how he's holding his left leg. It's tough to watch. And such a shame with the tennis that these two were producing in that second set. I just hope he can find a way through this from a spectacle point of view. Yeah, so maybe just getting to next sit down. As I say, he'll be allowed one more treatment for cramps, and then he's out on his own. Worrying times for Carlos Alcaraz. Djokovic breaks again for a 4-1 lead.
Hacer el último intento, si no se me va a ir, porque si me voy a hacer el pabellón, no tiene idea.
Yep.
So getting a rub down. Alcaraz also taking a couple of shots of something, may well be pickle juice, as I mentioned before. My belief is that the taste of pickle juice shocks the system so much that they think that that has something that will help the body stop spasming. That's the supposed science behind pickle juice. Maybe some electrolytes there, maybe a bit of salt, whatever it was, but there was a couple of shots he took. And you just think perhaps he's maybe given this set away, and we'll hope that the body warms up or he can somehow shake these cramps off.
In my time, I don't think anyone really bounces back fully. I would say that he might persevere and try to accommodate it, but I don't think we're going to see Carlos Alcaraz at that level that he showed in the first 2 sets.
The only time I can remember a player winning with very bad cramps was Daniil Medvedev. I think it was in Miami a couple of years ago, where he was almost hobbling over the line, badly spasmed as he actually shaked hands, but he only had 2 or 3 games to go in that match.
Inside, yeah.
Arguably the worst player to play against as well if you're trying to finish the points quick.
So Alcaraz not able to really get out and play the two-hander. Standing a little closer to the baseline to get racket on ball. Yeah, not surprised to see Djokovic try to kick it out wide. The further back he goes, the more, obviously, ground that he has to cover. And that probably initiates some little tweaks of cramp.
Just shows you, though, doesn't it, Mark? I mean, what an intense set that second set was. I mean, one of the fittest guys that there's ever been. We know how meticulous Novak Djokovic is with what he puts in his body. Leaves no stone unturned, because he's using nanotechnology now with it, what he's got on his chest. And yet he looked gassed after that second set in this heat. It was just blow after blow after blow, one way then the other. And again, not going for the drop shot. It'll be 3 set points then for Novak Djokovic. As the murmuring still goes on around court Philippe Chatrier. Still surefire winners, even off the back foot, and not being able to move. 2 set points saved.
Premier service.
It's Djokovic who takes the set. Not the way I'm sure he would have wanted to. Both players were looking so much to going head-to-head in this one. But has he just outlasted his opponent physically here? Takes the third set 6-1 for a 2-1 lead.
So it's in Djokovic's hands here.
15-0.
I just wonder from Alcaraz's point of view, does he try and push off a little more in these first few games, just test it out if he can? He's able to deal with that ball pretty well. Super serve from Djokovic. For these early couple of games will be vital. Alcaraz can just lift his spirits somehow. He might. Of course, everything's linked to the brain. He might get a second wind, but he might start feeling better.
Novak just beaten by the depth. Ball shooting through on him as well.
The ace has been brilliant on the break points. 9 of 11 now saved by Djokovic.
Just a little long.
Well, there's no need. And to be fair, the fans for the first 2 sets I thought were fantastic. They didn't boo or jeer either player. It was great respect, as there should be for these 2 great champions. wonderful. Just looking a little sharper here.
So what I love is that peripherally, he seems to notice when a player is drifting back deep, and it just activates him to throw that drop shot in. Surprising Novak.
Again, he's undercooked it. And you can sense that Djokovic is a little tight here. He knows that a match that he was so focused for this morning, that meant so much to him, is there for the taking. But he's still got to do the job. Another break point for Alcaraz. Nicely played.
And there's the chess element to Djokovic's game. Deep is Alcaraz to return the serve. So in comes the kick serve wide. If Alcaraz is in a little closer, we generally see the slider up the tee.
Oh no, what a shame. Big roar, incidentally, down the other side of the court from Novak Djokovic. And now the Nole cheers come. Djokovic comes through the game, and that reaction tells you he knows how important that service hold is. So often talk about it when an opponent is wounded or injured. From a psychological perspective, it can become very difficult for the opposing player. Seen it many times. Players go into their box, they start playing safe. Mindset changes. But Djokovic doing a good job there.
Escaping that game. That was major for him to hold serve. And now we get to test out. Good view of Alcaraz as he steps up to serve. If he's still bothered. There's not a lot of power there, is there, from on the serve? Just a waiting game from here on in for Alcaraz to see if he can have some type of recovery. That he's certainly going to be compromised.
skids off the line. Serve speed is somewhat down now for Alcaraz. That one 164 Ks. Djokovic breaks early in set 4. Little look skywards. Has his man exactly where he wants him. Trying to reach what would be a 34th Grand Slam final, a 7th here at Roland-Garros. Djokovic, something you feel miraculous needs to happen for Alcaraz to change all that. And if he does get this win, Mark, is it still a really satisfying win because it's his physical conditioning that has won out at the end of the day?
Yeah, I would say that you'd still, feel fantastic, proud, ecstatic that you've won. Tennis is still a physical battle, as much as it is a mental battle, and I think it does highlight how intense those first 2 sets. It said a number of times that neither of them would reach the 2-hour mark, or 2 hour and a quarter hours. Neither of them had taken a dip. It was intense, and someone had to give. It looked like it was starting to be Novak.
Oh, moving better up to the drop shot there, Alcaraz, but again, it's so smart from Djokovic, testing out every sinew of his opponent. Djokovic, incidentally, I mean, before this tournament started, he said he likes Grand Slams because they're marathons, not sprints, and you just kind of feel this has been a marathon, that he's, at the moment, a fair way ahead of his opponent. He's certainly moving better, Alcaraz, but it's Djokovic who backs up the break for a 3-love lead in set 4.
Djokovic mène 3-0.
Lovely drop shot by Djokovic, and this was a real test for Alcaraz. Going back for the overhead. Got back pretty well for it, but I think landing on that right leg, that was the one that started to cramp.
Reprise.
What's he got left? As I say, started to move a little better in the previous game, Alcaraz, but still a long, long way back. There's more pop on that serve as well, 173 case.
0-15.
Reminder, of course, still to come after this one. It was not before 5:30. Second men's semi-final, Casper Ruud against Sasha Zverev. Zverev, who beat Djokovic in that semi-final at the Olympics. So he's beaten him in a very big match before. But not over 5 sets.
Yeah, you can imagine what they must be feeling, watching, looking at, sensing. One of them would maybe face Alcaraz. And then within a span of 5 minutes, 10 minutes perhaps, realizing that it is very much looking like Djokovic into the final.
15-40.
And it is a shame. With this, for 2.5 hours, we got exactly what we were wanting. It was blisteringly brilliant from both players. But now, the one-way traffic continues as Alcaraz's race looks to be run.
Djokovic mène 4-0.
Well, we often say that the 2 breaks, so it acts as an insurance break, doesn't it? And it's really a lot of credit for Carlos even to persevere at this stage. I think there'd be a number of other men out on the tour that would have shaken their hands.
It's nicely done. How much, Mark, do you think, you know, look, we were hyping up this match. It felt like everyone was. It was all anyone could talk about. When we talk about experience of really big match occasions, how much is that a factor perhaps in the cramping in terms of, you know, all that excitement coming in?
S'il vous plaît.
Because cramps, you know, can be mental too, or connected anyway.
15.
Well, I haven't seen him cramp before.
Me neither.
Yeah.
No.
Again, unnecessary booing. Djokovic happy that he set down an ace. And they're not happy to see him celebrate. I should say hear him celebrate.
Les joueurs sont prêts, s'il vous plaît.
I think you can't blame him celebrating. There's still a match to be won here. Oh. It's still fabulous tennis, and Alcaraz winning that rally. Does seem to be moving better in this set.
15-30.
Still not where he was in sets 1 or 2.
I think he is struggling to actually load up on that right leg. That's the one that gave out. And when he's certainly going to load up for the forehand, that's the anchor leg. It's just not quite the same. There we go. Chess happening once again. Alcaraz stands closer, and so Djokovic slides it down the tee.
And he had been kicking it up quite often in the previous games to test out the stretching. So smart. No, he's missed it. It was a great move.
40-30.
Even coming to net, Pete, you know, he's 6 foot tall, but just wasn't in that athletic position when he arrived up at net. He was quite tall. Didn't help matters. Just.
Another big reaction. He's well aware of just how dangerous Alcaraz is, even without the movement, the skill set that he has. How much he wants Grand Slam number 23. Brilliant serving.
Djokovic.
He's a game away from a 7th Roland-Garros final.
Mène 5-0.
Leads 5-love.
Final point, you could see Alcaraz taking that jump up the tee. Just enough time, perhaps, for Novak to send it out wide, clean that game up.
Reprise.
Well, we know Novak Djokovic likes his records and numbers. He's a game away from being the 2nd oldest Roland-Garros finalist. Bill Tilden, the oldest ever at 37. That was back in 1930. We also know he likes beating Rafael Nadal, and if he was to win on Sunday, he would be the oldest ever champion by 18 days over Nadal last year.
(0-15).
The U's and the R's. Crowd enjoying this little duel. I think Djokovic may be regretting that he went back cross-court. Little gift for the Spaniard. Big cheers. Avoids the bagel, Alcaraz. And as you were saying earlier, Mark, has spiritedly continued to battle and fight out there, whereas many others might have given up the ghost with what he's been going through physically.
Just executed the points so well, Djokovic, since Alcaraz hit with the cramps.
Yeah, I mean, he's made it look easy, hasn't he, Mark?
Yeah,
at times.
He's just pushed Alcaraz into positions where it's almost like right at the nerve endings, and not able to just get himself out there. Alcaraz is quite often on the stretch over the last set and a half. There's another one.
40-0.
And one step away from taking this semi-final.
3 match points.
Merci. Let's premier service. S'il vous plaît.
It was brutal, bruising and brilliant for 2 awesome sets, with both players wobbling. But it is Novak Djokovic who outlasts his opponent physically. You have to feel for Carlos Alcaraz, whose cramping just stopped him from really competing for the last 2 sets of the encounter. But it will be a 7th Roland-Garros final for the great champion. He's 1 win away from a 23rd Grand Slam title. It's Djokovic who defeats Alcaraz 6-3, 5-7, 6-1, 6-1 in 3 hours and 23 minutes.
And a battle that was an opportunity to pick up his 3rd Roland-Garros title on Sunday.
Je vais demander de raccompagner Carlos Alcaraz, qui était pour la première fois en demi-finale, ici à Roland-Garros.
Well, we know Alcaraz will be back. It's won a lot of fans with how he plays tennis on the court, but also how he handles himself on and off the court.
Novak, in our sport, it's so important to be fit. It's so important to control your emotions. I don't know how did you deal and how did you block all that at 36 years of age against someone #1 in the world, 20 years old, and you managed to win an unbelievable match. Good job.
Thank you. Well, first and foremost, I have to say tough luck for Carlos. Obviously, at this level, you know, the last thing you want is cramps and physical problems at the late stages of the Grand Slam. So I feel for him. I feel sorry. I hope he can recover and he can come back very soon. I told him at the net, you know, he knows how young he is. He's got plenty of time ahead of him, so he's going to win this tournament, I'm sure, many, many times. He's an unbelievable player, incredible competitor, very nice guy, you know, so he deserves all the applause and all the support. Yeah, it's tough, you know, obviously for him to not know whether he should retire the match or finish the match the way he did. But congratulations to him for fighting spirit and hanging in all the way to the last point. Respect for that. Great respect. I think we were both at the physical limit, to be honest, you know, and towards the end of the second set, you know, I wasn't feeling fresh at all. And we went toe to toe. I think it was a quite even match, 1 set all, and then, you know, this thing happened with his cramps in the second game or third game of the second set, or third set, and from that moment onwards, yeah, it was a different match. Obviously, I just tried to stay focused, you know, to stay present. I saw that he's struggling, but you know, I didn't obviously want to think too much what's going on the opposite side of the net. But again, respect for him, and I hope he comes back very quickly.
Thank you for all that explanation. But the intensity from the very beginning, you were hitting your forehand probably as hard as, I don't know if ever, but almost. Your backhand down the line was great. And what was the toughest part to manage at that beginning of the third set for you when you saw that he was a little bit down and you need to focus like point by point? What did you tell yourself? We want to know a little bit of a secret, Novak, please.
Well, it's not easy to maintain that kind of intensity on the court, you know. The first set and a half, I was really playing very well, had some chances. Then, you know, I think towards the end of the second set, he was a better player and he deserved to win the second set. I mean, but I had to play aggressive, you know. I had to take the ball early, and because if I didn't do that, he was going to be the aggressive one. I know that he's the kind of player that loves to play that kind of style. He's very, very dynamic, very fast, a lot of power in his shots, a lot of intensity. So I had to match that and try to do even better. So it was a very exhausting, you know, battle for the 2 sets. Yeah, I'm just incredibly proud to again reach another finals. I'm very, very happy.
On va finir en français, si tu veux, Novak, parce que dans le début du tournoi, Tu étais ici,
And
je ne
now
sais
we
pas
will
si tu as les
switch in
doutes
French
dans ta tête avant le tournoi
at the beginning of this tournament.
mais tu es encore
I don't know
nouvelle
if you were having
finale ici à
doubts,
Roland-Garros. C'est sûr que
but
tu
look
es
at you
très
now.
heureux.
You
Mais en
are
même
once
temps,
again
concentré parce que je regarde dans
in
tes
the final.
yeux et tu es encore parce
You
que
stayed
ça c'est pas
focused.
fini.
Oui,
C'est ça
pas
la
fini.
I
sensation?
was watching you
Oui.
playing, and
C'est
you
juste,
stayed
tout ce
focused the
que
entire
je veux
time,
dire.
right?
C'est
Yes.
pas fini. Évidemment,
Everything you said is right.
On a notre,
But it's not
notre
over yet.
match.
There is
Oui,
another
je
match
regarde
to play.
avant. Je suis en une position de rêve pour moi, franchement, pour,
I'm living a dream right now.
pour jouer ici à Roland-Garros sur notre finale. Vraiment un rêve, donc
I love
j'espère
playing
pour
here at Roland-Garros,
porter
and
mon
it's a
meilleur jour,
dream to be able to
mon
play
meilleur niveau
in
de
finals
tennis
once again.
Dimanche, et on espère pour gagner un titre.
And to show my game.
Nous, c'était
And I hope that on Sunday I will win this tournament.
Pour nous, c'était aussi un rêve que tu aies la finale parce que tu l'as mérité. Félicitations,
Merci.
mesdames et messieurs.
It was also a
Novak
dream for
Djokovic
us.
à la finale de Roland-Garros.
Congratulations, Novak Djokovic.